Alrighty, hello everyone. So in this video, I'm gonna be explaining on how to fill out the personal financial statement. This is a document that we require from all of our borrowers, and I know it can look confusing, but I think once you hear this explanation, it's gonna be way easier to process. So the most important information is starting out with your name, address, social security number, telephone number. If there is more than just one person involved in the deal, meaning you have a business partner, somebody else is going to be part of the loan with you, it is important that they also add their information as well. Um, and then the next step here is looking at your um, financials. So on the left side, you have all the information regarding the assets that you own, so cash that you may have both in a checking or saving account. If you have any kind of um, investment like in stocks or the 401k or whatever kind of like type of retirement investment account that you may have, and then any kind of like real estate that you own, whether it's personal or an investment property. So the information that it's looking for here is the closest estimate regarding, cash in your checking and savings account. So if you think about money that you have in your bank account right now, if you open your bank account, what we want to know is how much money you have here. So I would start with looking at this point because it's easy, right? You can just log into your bank account. So checking account, savings account, add that information here for the respected amount. And if it's more than one person filling this out, where there's two people involved, it is important that either you fill out as your partner fills out a separate version of this document with the information, and then you fill out your own. But if you don't mind sharing that information between each other, then you can put the names of the people involved in this deal, so your name and the other person's name, and then a combined balance of what you have in terms of cash. um, if you have kind of like a savings certificate or money market account, what the amount in that account may be. So you just put that here, and the same for everything else. The point is, on the left side, you're gonna put the current uh, balance or appraised value of the asset that you own. For example, if you own stocks, you can just put the most recent balance of your stocks that you own. If you have any kind of you know personal real estate, it says here account and account notes receivable and non-marketable securities. Typically people don't have that, these two items here, so it typically goes unfilled. So if you don't have information about something, like you just don't have like non-marketable securities or account receivables and things like that as on a personal level, like if you make like a loan to someone or something like that, then you just leave it empty in this case. Then you have real estate for personal use. So if you have a primary home that you own, all you need to add here is the total value of that home. Like the if you have an appraisal or something like that that's recent. Sometimes people also go to Zillow and find that information from Zillow. Again, we're not looking for perfection, but just kind of like a range, an idea of what the values are going to look like here. Then real estate investments is the same as the real estate for personal use. If you own rental properties, we want to know the value of the market value of those rental properties. And then ownership in privately owned businesses. If you have a business and you have done evaluation of your business, you can put that here. Most people leave that empty because they don't have that. So if you don't have that information, just leave it empty. if you have a car, you can put the value of your car, market value. You can look that online. And then if you have personal items, again, a lot of people don't have like evaluation of this stuff, so they just don't add it. Some people do have like an estimate, so they do add it, but it all depends. Now, you at the end, after you had all of that information, you just sum, like add up all those numbers, and then include here where it says total assets, how much, like the sum of all of these numbers. And then on the right side, we want to know any kind of liability that you may have. So if you have a loan, like a personal loan, credit card, taxes that you may owe, if you have a mortgage, all of that information we want to know the balance, the total balance that it's owed as of the time that this document is filled out. So you just have to make sure that it's the most recent information um, that you have of the balance of anything that you owe, either it's in terms of a loan, taxes, mortgage, whatever it is, credit cards. Just put the total balance. Now, sometimes people do have multiple, like let's say credit cards, multiple, they own multiple properties. So you gotta put the total amount of what you owe to any institution or person. And then you are also gonna add up the total liabilities that you may have. So you add up everything that's here and then put it here. And then the way you calculate your net worth is simply by taking the total assets minus total liabilities, and that will give you an estimate of your net worth. Um, so all you have to do is again have your total assets here, total liabilities here, and then just subtract those two, and it will give you your net worth. And then you can then add up your total liabilities and your net worth, and then it will give you that number here. So you can add everything up and add it here, just like what it says there: total liabilities in net worth, which is just adding up these two. So, all right. Then the next step, it says here contingent assets and contingent liabilities. Um, Most people don't have that. If you do have something that falls within the description that you see here, like commissions, pensions, and trust income, like you can include that if you know that information. The same for liabilities, um, like anything where you may be guarantor to someone else's loan, anything like that.